What is up, guys? Welcome back to Ad Talk by AdClass. My name is Matthew, and I'm joined by CEO and co-founder Caleb Cruz. What's up, Caleb?
What's up, guys? Good to see you.
Recently got back from our retreat all together in sunny Arizona, so
Yeah.
we really enjoyed that time together. But that got us thinking, that's one of, at most, 2 times a year that we get to see each other in person.
Yeah.
And that's, obviously not the norm, although it's, more of the norm in a post-COVID society and post-COVID work culture. But that got me thinking, let's talk about work culture. Let's talk about remote work life, what that looks like for us individually, for our team, and, how it sets us apart for setting the team members up for success in their own world, their own lives, that kind of stuff. So, I'd love to hear from you, Caleb, why you always wanted AdClass to be and obviously Dakota as well. Why you guys wanted it always to be a work remote kind of setup.
Yeah. It's a great question, man. It's funny because I think that for Dakota and I, it kind of just naturally started that way, and then it kind of just kept growing that way. And we realized pretty quickly that at least for our industry and the work that we do, we were able to remain extremely productive being remote, and it wasn't hindering performance or results for clients or anything like that. And then as business owners, you start to look at okay, well, we don't have to pay for a really big in-person office, right? We don't have to deal with all the expenses that come along with having an office space. There's so many things that have to be maintained and kept in that sort of if you have to pay for that, right? And so for us, it was we don't really see the need for us to basically invest in that. And then the other piece too is we started hiring people from all over, right? And so when you've got people in Canada, you got people in Colorado, Florida, Georgia, you know what I mean? We're all over the place. And so it's it's kind of hard at that point to be all right, let's pick one location. And then do you want to fly people out? Is everyone going to move or whatever, right? And so for us, it's just it's worked really well remotely, and we've enjoyed it. You know what I mean? We've enjoyed it, and I think we will continue to enjoy it. We have no plans as of right now to have an office space. So yeah.
I'm very happy about that.
Yeah.
I love working remote. It's honestly been such a huge game changer, for me. Someone that has worked in office buildings before and that kind of setting. And I know that everyone's experience is so different. I just got so distracted, people walking in and out of my office cubicle area, and just so much noise. I've got a different noise here. It's usually my cat meowing at me or my kid stomping upstairs. So it's a different kind of environment. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's just it's opened up a possibility for more home time, which, as a young father, that's kind of huge for me. And I know that even, people on our team without kids, they just love that kind of flexibility too. So yeah, that's my personal take on the remote work. It's just been
there's so many benefits, bro. Yeah, the home time is awesome. Another really big piece of it is commute, right? There's so many people out there who they're spending an hour plus every day, sometimes multiple hours for people dealing with the commute and the traffic and all of that. And it's you get, if you've got a normal a 30 minutes is a pretty normal commute one way for someone for work. So every day it's an hour of driving that you get back in your life, you know what I mean? And that's we only have so many hours in the day, right? So it becomes really valuable. And like you said, especially once you start having kids and stuff, and the time becomes even more constrained and limited, every second counts, So absolutely. Yeah, man, there's a lot of benefits. There's a lot of benefits from working from home. So yeah, dude.
I love that. I think one thing that you mentioned just before was really critical, which is, it's allowed us to, hire people from not just around the country, but like you said, Canada. We just hired Elias, who's currently working in Buenos Aires. We work with Kristen, who's currently in Scotland.
Yeah,
we're literally all over the world, and that's really cool. So I think one good question is in terms of the company culture, why is culture so important when we have that work remote culture, or the work remote setup at the moment? Not at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, it's such a really deep question because the short answer to it is that the reason that culture is so important is because people want to enjoy where they work. We all
Mhm,
spend so many hours every single day with the people that we work with, and we want that time to be fun and enjoyable, right?
mhm,
Like if you have to spend 8 hours a day with people that you don't enjoy, doing something that makes you miserable, that's like
mhm,
sucking the life out of you, um, you know, who wants that? Nobody wants that. And
right.
so for like that's kind of like at its core, like the culture of the company is what makes people come into work and feel like they belong, right? That they can come in with a smile on their face or like an experience joy in the workplace and not be surrounded by like a dark cloud or like there's like a it's like
Mhm,
constantly like the rain is falling like on your head, you know what I mean? And so
mhm,
so that to me is like the short answer of why culture is so important. Yeah, man, you want to feel like fulfilled in what you're doing and you just want to be around good people,
mhm, mhm,
so
yeah. I always look forward to our like I'll sort of like lay out for those who don't know like our typical meeting structures. Obviously, we do all of our like client calls over Zoom once a week, typically, sometimes bi-weekly. But for like internal, we have like a morning stand up is what we call it,
yep.
for the whole company every morning, and we just get on, and it's just something I just look forward to every day because it's not just like, well, I like these people. It's like these are my friends,
Yeah.
It's just like crazy
Love
to
that.
think about. And I think what you and Dakota have been able to do is like manage to like attract good people as well, which means that you can trust people to work remotely. You can trust that they're doing the work without having keyboard stroke checks and all this kind
Yeah.
of stuff. There's that element of autonomy, but that just like the fact that we don't get to see each other every day um, in person and sort of like have that taken for granted means that when we do get on a call together, it's like
Yeah.
a lot of fun. And
Such a good point.
it's
Yeah.
just so good for like building camaraderie and encouraging like not just myself but like the entire company. I feel like we come away from those calls. I know you and I, we like to have fun. We like
Yeah.
to,
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
but hopefully everyone listening to this class is like, why are they just yapping every morning? What the heck? But I
No,
mean,
that's a good sign.
I feel like that stuff is just as important as like the business discussion side of
Oh,
stuff.
it's crucial, man. It's absolutely crucial. Like you said before, like when you're working in an office and you're surrounded by people, especially for someone that's like an extrovert or you get your energy
Mm-hmm.
from being around people, right? It can be difficult to adjust to the work from home life if,
Mm-hmm.
especially if the job that you are doing working from home feels again like there's no culture, like everyone there is just not having a good time. You're not really like attached to the work at all, but if you can tap into a company that has a good culture remotely, you're still able to kind of experience that same sort of joy that people do from hanging out in person in the office, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
so to your point, while we only see each other physically once or twice a year, we can still hop on Zoom and laugh. And I mean, like not just like laugh, but I'm talking like cry laugh. You know what I mean? Like been so many moments in our company where people are just belly laughing, and I
Mm-hmm.
mean it is just like you can just feel it, you know what I mean? And that's it's so important to have that
Mm-hmm.
atmosphere and have people feel comfortable enough to let
Mm-hmm.
loose like that and be themselves in that kind of atmosphere. So
For sure. Yeah, I totally agree. I think it really keeps us like from burning out from like Zoom fatigue kind of stuff,
yeah.
because not every client calls a belly laugh, You know, some of them are. I know I'm on a fair number that we get some good giggles in, but
Yeah.
there's I think having that balance is just like so critical to know. Like, yes, we are here to work, and yes, we do important work, and
Of course.
we want to be serious about what we're trusted with from like a client perspective, but that doesn't mean there isn't space for fun.
Yeah,
And
exactly. You have to
I
have
feel
fun,
like,
man. I mean,
yeah,
who wants to have a marketing team that's just a bunch of like duds, like a bunch of boring people that like don't know how to enjoy themselves. Like the whole
right.
idea behind marketing is like make, getting out there and having fun, like getting attention
Mm-hmm.
and like doing things that are like a little bit different, right? And it takes a certain
Mm-hmm.
personality type to enjoy that space. And yeah, man, I mean, it's like you don't want to, when you picture your marketing team, you're not thinking of a bunch of like, bumps on a log, right? Like, that's not what it's all about.
Do you
Sorry,
say
bumps on a
bumps
log.
on a log?
Is that like a not a British saying?
I've never heard that in my life.
Are you serious? Not You've never
No,
heard
no,
bump on
no.
a log?
Bump
Look
on
it
a
up, dude. Yeah,
log. Yeah, I'm looking
please
up right
please
now.
look it
I'm
up.
thinking of like ants on a log, like the celery and like peanut
No,
butter.
it's like a thing that we say like when someone's being kind of like boring or like
Oh
that person's a
yeah.
bump on a log. Yeah,
Hey, well, I learned something new today. How about that?
there
That's
you
fun.
go. Yeah, and let me tell you, Matthew, you are no bump on a log, my friend.
Well, I appreciate it, dude. Same
Yeah,
goes for you, obviously. I just learned that. That's great.
yeah.
Oh man, that's too cool. I think one other question I have is like, considering this has just been like how we've done things for so long, we've learned a lot along the way about, especially for you in Dakota, what it means to be on calls all day and like run a business and that kind of stuff. So, what are some of the things that you would encourage, someone who either they're, an agency or they've got a small business listening, and they might be struggling with work culture, if they're doing, either a fully remote or a hybrid kind of thing. Like, what are some like lessons or key insights that you've had, like personally, from working in a remote setting and building a remote culture that would be useful for someone here? Would you say?
Yeah, a lot of things, right? A lot of things. I think that first off, the very first thing that you should be doing is trying to meet every morning. Even if it's a really quick meeting, we call these stand up meetings, and we've done them since day one at AdClass, and we still do them every single day. And it's a chance for the whole team to get together and just say good morning and kind of get the day started together. And it's such a key part of maintaining the culture because you get to see everyone no matter what every morning, right? I think that if you
Mhm.
don't have a recurring structure of like a place for people to have that space, it can be really easy to like not see someone, especially if you're like segmented out into different departments or different teams. And so having one spot where everybody gets together and they can laugh for a few minutes and smile and start the day together, that's been really, really huge for us. Another thing that's been really fun, and you guys like listening to this might think that would be a really big waste of time, but we found that it's been one of the most fun things that's been added to our culture is that since we're not in person and we don't have a water cooler area or a break room
Mhm.
area in person, one of the things that we've implemented inside of Slack, which is how our team communicates, is a break room channel. And this is a spot where people can just post up some random things, post up a joke, maybe some news that they want to talk about, but it gives everybody a second to kind of like break away from work for a second and
Mhm.
interact. And that we've seen that in that channel there's been so many inside jokes and just like culture building conversations that have happened in there that like originally Dakota and I were kind of like, I don't know, I mean a channel where people can just like not talk about work stuff, I don't know, like is that going to be a giant like waste of time and is it going to kill payroll? And it's actually done the opposite. Like it's really
Mhm.
been a place for people to have fun and still be extremely productive in doing other things too. So it's like it's kind of fun. It's like a little side chat that kind of goes along in our company, and we honestly almost every single day someone's saying something in there that's making everybody giggle, which is just the best. So
Yeah, I basically like post up all day in break room. I mean, no, I work hard. Uh,
oh man, Matthew's like, yeah, actually, like I spent about 7 hours a day just inside of the break room. Yeah,
no,
no.
that's not true. I
If
spend
that was the
six.
case, yeah, I don't think we'd probably have the break.
No, we wouldn't, and I wouldn't also be on this podcast right now because I'd be fired. But I was going to say I'm not in the break room 7 hours. I'm on the break room 6 hours, and the rest, like the other hours, I'm spent in Canva making memes for the break room. So there's balance there too.
Oh, dude, it's so good. But like, those are just a couple quick tips. There's so many other
Mhm.
things too for for tips on building culture. I mean, one of the other things that we have a great time with is on Fridays. We save Fridays
Mm.
for team trainings. And we have a media buyer power hour that we do every single Friday where like the team just gets together. And it's kind of that conversation of what's working, like what do you guys see that's working in your accounts right now? How can we share that with each other so we're constantly getting better and improving on each other as a team? Those meetings also have been a huge add to our culture. And I think the other thing too is just it's how you present yourself to the rest of the team. If you're a business owner and you're getting on with the team and it's always just everything is like stern and get this done and what's the deadline on this and where are we at here and why are we not doing this thing better and blah blah blah, right? Like if that's how you're constantly
Mm,
coming at your team, that's gonna form a culture that people don't enjoy, right? It's constantly being optimistic about the team. It's constantly bringing smiles. It's bringing joy and being comfortable with the team to laugh, right? It's not necessarily saying like, hey, you got to go out and be every single person's best friend. That's not what I'm
mm,
saying, but it is being like, hey, you want people to feel comfortable in this space to have a good time and also do an excellent job at what they're
mm,
called to do here.
mm,
And finding that balance really comes from like leadership, right? If leadership
mm.
isn't doing that, then it's not gonna happen. So
Yeah, for sure. Like you lead by example, like you and Dakota and the whole like leadership team. I feel like because you're not just sort of like looking down at us from a boardroom, like being like, get back to work,
yeah,
that kind of stuff.
yeah, exactly, dude. And it's that's just it's not a style of leadership that I think, especially in remote work, is going to lead to like a productive atmosphere, right? Because again, for people that work from home, right? Like you can like I can go over here and like move the mouse, I can go play Xbox or
Mhm,
whatever, and be completely distracted and like that usually comes from a place of the person doesn't feel like their work is valued. They don't really feel like they're
mm,
seen. They don't feel like oh, okay, like I can log in, but it doesn't really matter here. You know what I mean? But it's like if they can come in and they're like smiling with the people they work with and they're being challenged and like
mhm,
uh and they're having a good time, that's what brings the productivity coming from home, right? And so
mhm,
it's crucial, man. And it starts with the owners and it matters all the way down to the people who were just hired, right? Like even the
mhm.
newest employees, they add to the culture day one, right? We just hired Elias, and in day one he's making jokes on stand up and like it's a great time, right? It's like you can feel that come out right away when someone gets started. So
Mhm. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think these have been the most productive. I've almost been here 2 years, 2.5 years. These have been the most productive 2.5 years of my entire life. I feel like from a work
wow,
perspective.
that's wild.
A lot goes into that. I care about the work being a big one. I care about the company being another big one. And honestly, being remote has been huge because, think about what would happen if you were in an office, like, you get sidetracked by someone and you're in a conversation for like half an hour sometimes, and
Yep.
it's just like you can't escape. Whereas, Slack, I'm not being rude if I'm not responding. Sometimes I've just been like, doing
I'm
some
in the
other stuff,
middle of
but
actually doing some like deep work and I have to focus. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it allows me to be like selective with how I use my time
Yeah.
because then I have agency and autonomy to like, yes, have good time with like my teammates and clients and respond to some fun messages, but it provides that like boundary line of, okay, I know I need to do some work, so I'm going to do some work, and I have the ability to focus,
Yep.
and that's just not something that was possible for me in an
Yeah.
office setting. So
Totally.
but you know, the collaborative side of things is huge. Like, you mentioned like the media buy power hour. We do a lot of like internal trainings and that side of things. But I think even just outside of that, we have a ton of channel. I think we use Slack excellently
Oh
because
yeah.
it's built in such a way that there is an exchange of ideas and questions basically at all times. You know,
Yeah.
if someone's got a question, we are generally posting it in a public channel where there is
Yeah.
like visibility and everyone can weigh in and learn.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
It happens much
I
faster. Yeah. It happens
it
much
happens much faster. And if you're in an office setting and you stand up on a table and you're like, "Hey, I have a question," everyone listen. It doesn't quite go as well. And everyone's probably more like annoyed at you rather than learning and like willing to participate. So yeah, I know that was a
faster.
very base kind of
Yeah.
analogy, but
Dude, I love being in an office and just seeing you get on a desk and start
Oh,
screaming.
yeah.
That would actually probably make my day, bro. Make
My
my
parole
day.
officer agrees, so that's fair.
Oh my gosh, dude. But dude, you've been a huge addition to our culture, honestly, and like I think that goes it goes for saying for like all the people that we bring on. I think that you mentioned a really important piece of this whole like culture equation, which is taking the time to bring on the right people. We
Mhm.
have an extremely rigorous interview process, and we are very, 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 very picky about who we bring onto the team
Mm.
for good reason because we have to have people that are really smart, that are going to work really hard, that are going to perform and get really great results for our clients and are striving for excellence.
Mhm.
Like there's that type of like the side of the person that we need. But then we also want the person who we can laugh with and tell cool stories with and
Mhm.
know that like when they come into work like we're going to enjoy spending time and talking with them all day long, right? And it's like if we can mesh these things together, it starts to really build a really cool culture. But it takes time in interviewing and making sure that they are the right person for the job, right? And it's like
Mhm.
so I don't want to understate how important um hiring the right people is for this, right? Like it's really
For
easy,
sure.
especially as a startup company, to kind of like do a couple quick interviews. You're like, I don't want to do more because I don't have all the time in the world. I don't want to sit here and interview a lot of people.
Mm.
But it's like it's way worth spending the extra time up front to find the right people so that like you're not having to fire them and then go start over, and you're losing
Mm.
like 10 times the amount of time anyways, right? So
That is
yeah,
huge. I completely agree.
yeah,
And again, because you can essentially hire from anywhere, that opens up pool of candidates. That if you're just like working out of say like Phoenix or San Antonio or wherever, that really limits things. So all of a sudden, you have the ability to be more selective,
yeah,
and I think that's just like generated a really unique culture for us. And I feel like with every new hire, something gets added that was missing in a way.
yeah,
And not just from like a personality perspective, but I'm thinking of recent hires that have come in and hit the ground running from work perspective too. Like they're excited about the work because you guys have put in the diligence to like find the right culture fit, but also find the right kind of person who can like self start, self motivated, get
yep,
themselves on a screen, on a laptop, and like do the work without having a boss looking over their shoulder kind of stuff. And
right, right.
that takes effort, and the payoff is what we're seeing.
Yeah, it's huge, and it comes down to one of our core values. So that's, I mean, we've been talking this whole time about culture. We have four massive core values at our company, and one of those is to do it right, right? And what the
Mhm.
do it right core value is that we're hiring people that we believe in their core want to do it right. They don't want to cut corners. It's the whole kind of idea of like, are you going to do the right thing when no one's watching? Right. And we
Mhm.
are actively seeking out those kind of people because we believe that if we hire those people, we don't have to micromanage them. Right. We don't have to be the
Mhm.
people who are looking over the shoulder and being like, did you do this? Did you check by all these boxes off? We've hired a smart person that is going to do it right, and we're putting our trust that they are going to do that right. And that's again a hard part of the interview process that you have to move through. But if you find people with those core values, or that specific core value, um, you should be in a much better spot than someone who's like you said, right? Like they're not self starters. They're not someone who's capable of kind of owning their own stuff, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, or the person who's gonna like go play Xbox or whatever,
Right.
you know.
Right. Or stream themselves on Twitch. No names mentioned. Actually, that kind of gets me to I want to like spend the last few minutes here, like talking about some of the more like the fun in the moment, and then looking back on it, like maybe it
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
as fun in the moment, but like there's some funny stories that we have from like what remote culture has led us to. So a recent favorite of mine, kind of like following on from last year's beef between Kendrick and Drake, was finding out one of our teammates' dads is connected to Drake. And
are you
uh,
even allowed to say this?
I'm not saying name. I'm not naming names. Maybe I can't even say that. Maybe Drake's gonna like send me a mean DM and like I don't know.
If Drake sends you a mean DM, it'd probably be like one of the coolest things.
No, I wouldn't. That's the problem. Not for me. It's,
You're like, dude, no, no, no. Now
it's like, what are
If
you
Kendrick
yapping
DM
about?
me,
Yeah, now if that happens, then I'd ascend. But Drake. Another good one. I've got to give love to my brother Liam, who is just an OG member of the team.
oh
He's
yeah,
just an absolute incredible guy to work with. He's so good at his job. He's also very young, so just like the constant meanness of like, ah, poor 6-month-old baby Liam just learned out about this like new media buying technique, or it's just, I guess like most of my stories actually sound like bullying, so that doesn't reflect on me very well.
it's like my favorite stories in the company are when I'm making fun of people and rubbing their face in the dirt.
Oh boy, maybe I need to listen back to this episode about company culture. Oh my word. Oh man.
Dude,
There was a great Friday we do like the shout outs. We give like tacos, which is our like version of shout outs. And we do some shout out on the calls, and it's all just like a big love fest. We enjoy just like celebrating each other's wins. It's a big part of it. And then occasionally we'll do some games. So I hosted a meme off one time, and basically I had like
dude, that
5
was
meme
so
templates.
great. That
It
was
was
so great.
amazing. It was like 5 meme templates, and everyone was in teams. And I was just like, okay, you've all got 30 seconds with this template, and then the one that me and another person deem the best gets a point, that kind of stuff. I kid you not, like 90% of the memes generated were about Liam, which is just like, at least I'm not the only one.
It's great though because it's like Liam's like the personality type that like loves it and rolls with it and he like
Yes.
laughs along, which I think that's why everybody does it because they're like they know that Liam like he doesn't take it as like, oh, they're laughing at me. You know what I mean? It's like
Right,
it's a fun thing, you know what I mean? And so
exactly. At least
which is
that's
why
what my lawyer explained to me after the fact. But um,
dude, one of my favorites, like I gotta tell this story. This is
go
one
for
of
it.
my favorites of all time is Emma. Emma's like very first icebreaker. We hired Emma, who's just awesome. Emma is the best, and honestly, just one
Incredible.
of the like smartest, hardest working people on the team, and she is just a blast. And like we hired her, and in the like part of the stand up meeting that we do when we have a new hire come on is we'll usually do some sort of icebreaker. And so when we
Hmm.
hired Emma to come on, we did an icebreaker, which it was basically the like 3 truths and a lie game, right?
Hmm.
And we we play this game, and basically you have to tell everybody, okay, what are 3 truths about you? What's the lie? And Emma basically wins this game, and the reason that she wins this game is because one of her things was that she was a pescatarian. Okay, she said that she was a pescatarian, only eats fish or whatever, and she wasn't. Okay, so she's actually not a pescatarian, but we all thought that she was based off of the other things that she had listed out. So she wins this game, and and for whatever reason, I was like, let me make a Canva like graphic image victory of Emma. So I took her profile photo and I made a really massive trophy next to her face, and then I put a big fish on it because because she won the game from her pescatarian lie. And and so I posted that to the channel, and still now, I mean, Emma's been with us for a few years. Still now, everybody jokes around as like Emma, like with fish. Like, so anytime Emma does anything awesome, there's like fish that go everywhere. Everyone's using fish emojis. We've actually made like using AI, like this like morph between like Emma's face and a fish, and it's like an emoji that's inside of our Slack that we use. And it's just amazing, and she loves it. She plays along
Oh
with it really
gosh.
well, and it's like I wanted so bad at our retreat to buy her a like a trophy that
Fish
actually was
trophy.
like a fish, like a bass fishing trophy or something. Like
Oh my gosh.
it's so good. It's just so good. That's the kind of stuff that just like we have a great time, and like it's just, oh, you guys, that is So that's another story right there. Matthew, the Oscar winner for his long speeches on stage.
This was this was my retreat gift. We did like Secret Santa at the retreat, which was super fun. This is from Liesel for me, and it's the best supporting actor in stand-up speeches. Get the Oscar music ready because I'm wanting to get on and just like not cry, but sometimes cry and just like encourage people and just like call them out and shout them out. And sometimes they get emotional, sometimes it goes 10 minutes. And, these all who I just love. She's one of my best friends on the team, just like decided to memorialize me with that. So, oh my
Dude, I
gosh.
can't believe that in this whole podcast episode, we didn't even talk about tacos or the Wins and Love channel. That's
Yeah,
another
right.
massive thing. That's another massive thing. So
Huge.
that's a final that this will be like the final tip here, and then we'll close it out. But one of the other big parts of our culture is that we have a whole area of Slack called the Wins and Love channel, where the entire channel is dedicated to just shouting out other team members when they've done something that's really great. And just sharing some love with them. Also, if we see like a really big client win or like a new testimonial comes in, we'll post it that channel, and it's just a really encouraging and uplifting channel where people can kind of see like all the hard work that other people on the team are doing and also be recognized for the hard work that they're doing. And we have a lot of fun with it with this kind of it's like this plugin to Slack that is called Hey Taco. And so every time you shout somebody out, you can give them a taco. And what we have that's really cool is as you collect tacos from people giving them to you, we have a little online store where you can buy
Mm.
like little different gifts and things like that with the tacos that you've earned from the shout outs. And so we've got team members who've gotten massages, they've done like coffee and lunch orders and things like that. We've even got Matthew no one's purchased this yet, okay, but I think it's coming. I think it's coming. You
If they're
can
too
use
scared,
tacos to purchase a song from Matthew on his guitar. I'm
I am
waiting. I'm waiting.
waiting.
I'm waiting. It's gonna be amazing. So that's another thing to boost culture is like have a space for people to shout each other out and love on one
Mm.
another. And we take time every Friday as well on stand up to literally like the whole first half of stand up on Friday is just meant for loving on other people on the team. And so that's
Mhm.
where Matthew earned his Oscar because he's the classic guy that gets up there and talks for 20 minutes about how he loves everybody and we all love it too, which is why we gave him the Oscar trophy. So yeah. So
I love
so
it.
yeah, so that's the ad class culture in a
Mhm.
nutshell.
That's a
Tied up
great
real well.
summation. I think the shout outs and the tacos. That's all possible because of the team that's been assembled. We've got a lot of incredible like personalities who are great fun to work with, but they work. Everyone works so hard, and I think because of that balance that we found in remote work between having fun, enjoying who you're with, but also liking what you do and being good at it, that has just like allowed us to build this culture where it's just an open like taco fest,
Yep.
um, and it's just one of my highlights of the week is always Friday. Just like hearing that, as my personality would probably insinuate, I just enjoy hearing happy things and just like seeing people happy. So
Yeah.
it's just a joy to be able to do that, not just on Fridays, but on a daily basis with this amazing team. So
Heck yeah, dude.
amazing. I love it. One side addendum on the Emma story about the pescatarian. It was like 6 months after that happened. We were talking about it again on stand up, and one other team member who's been there from the start, Senia, she was like, "Wait, I thought she actually was pescatarian this whole time."
Yeah, it's so great because like the thing that has she's been immortalized for with the fish thing was the lie
Isn't
in
even
the game.
true.
It's the thing that wasn't true. So
And
everyone's
we've
like,
got team members that have just like completely like they've got the Mandela effect where it's like, wait, she's not.
oh, oh gosh, we need to get her. Just buy her like a
Oh, we
bunch of
need to.
like a frozen bag of salmon and ship it to her house. That would be awesome.
Oh, dude. Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Well,
on that
oh, that
note,
was amazing. Yeah. On that note, this has been another episode of Ad Talk by AdClass. We're trying to do more and more of these little episodes. Sometimes, they might run a little long, but we're trying to think of ways to like provide value to you guys. Thinking through, what we've learned in our time and what we can bring to the culture and bring to the community for ways to succeed. Whether it's media buying strategies, whether it's like things that are happening right now between Meta, Google, or just like ways to build a great team. That's what we're here for. So yeah, Caleb, anything else on that note?
That's it. Thanks for listening, guys. We're going to keep doing more of these episodes. I think next week we've got a special guest coming on, which is going to be kind of fun.
Right.
So we'll have some fun switching up the conversation. And for those of you that are like, where in the world is Dakota? He's spending some special quality time with the family after having their newest kiddo. So send him some love if you haven't already. And again, guys, thanks for listening. Love you all. Catch you next time.
3 under 3. Don't send him love, send him prayers. What the heck? Bye, y'all.